Okay, and we are live now. Woo! Hi everyone. If you see a kitty cat going back and forward, that's because he's awake. And I usually have my live streams much later in the afternoon. Hi. Okay, more people are joining. Hello. Let me know if you can hear me. Actually, I keep talking for the last 20 seconds and so on, and I have no idea whether or not people can hear me. So yeah, let's get started. So today, two things. Why did I start earlier? It's because my mother-in-law is around and I want to spend the evening with her, and we wanted to have a nice dinner, so I cannot do my usual 7 o'clock. And then I thought that 7 o'clock is, at least for Europe, it's quite late, so I'll try a little bit earlier. So that's why we're here. That's why we have fun here, and I just wanted to join a little bit earlier. Anyway, what was I planning to do today? I had this design, and by the way, this design I did many months ago. I don't even remember how long ago did I do this design. Man, it's been so long. And I forgot about it. It was in my it was in a pouch. I forgot about it. And now I was like, ooh, look, it is here. And then I decided that today we're going to do something fun. I'm not going to do my usual random colors. I'm not going to do my usual things. I'm just going to try to do one color. And I haven't decided yet between which color. But it needs to be blue. I want to be blue. And because I actually wanted to try to color this one. And not use the colors as demarcation, right? I want to learn how to do shadows and all, and I want to see how that works, right? And we're just going to use blue. And now the question is between, so you can do cobalt blue or you can do this dark blue. Cobalt blue will be super bright, dark blue will be darker, right? And the question is, which one should I use, cobalt blue or dark blue? Of course, we have also this one, in 110 blue from Winsor & Newton. These are Schminke, by the way, cobalt blue, dark blue Schminke. In 110 is Winsor & Newton. I'm just wondering which one should I use. And the other rule is I am allowed to add a little bit of white at the end, because I'm probably going to mess up the statement here. So that's the, I need to add some white stuff. But other than that, it's just going to be blue. And, even before I even start, I want to do a swatch. Okay, let me get some paper. Do I have some paper here? Okay, I have some paper. I have some random paper. Why do I have random papers here? This is from Ranger. It's a watercolor paper. It's really, it used to be the watercolor paper I used to use for crafting. I started as a crafter. I started making cards initially, and then I went further. And I so happen to have some watercolor paper still left over. I wouldn't use this watercolor paper nowadays. I mean, as a card maker, you kind of want to do it. But I think you could be yellow. Okay, it could be a Delft blue color. Okay, but then if it's Delft blue, then it needs to be the cobalt blue, because the cobalt blue is kind of the Delft blue. Okay, Delft blue, for those who don't know, it's more of a color. It's a Dutch color. You can Google it, and there's very famous stuff. Okay, then I'm doing this color. So it's called cobalt blue, and I'm adding water to it, right? And I'm gonna make a really, let's see, thick consistency. So the way monochromatic works is you start with the light wash of this color, and then you build up the color. Okay. Normally, what I see other people do is they just use it directly from the tube, right? They use the color directly from the tube. I don't have the tubes handy here, so I'm just gonna you know, grab as much color as I can, and then we're gonna go. So what I want you to see is like, okay, let's assume that this is the very concentrated color. This is what I get when it's super concentrated. Okay, this is how dark it's gonna be. Okay, and then I'm adding some water, and then I'm going down, right, to see how light it can be. Adding more water. So this is how you do, this is how you can draw, or you can watercolor by using the same color technically, but because you have a variation in the shade or in the tone, then you go and you make it as light as possible. Happy is going back and forward, by the way, right? Happy is going back and forward. He's awake at this hour. Usually I have my live stream in the evening, and that's very rarely that he's awake at that hour. Sometimes he joins me in live streams, but now he's like all over the place because that's his time to go around and mess with me. Okay, I can keep going with here, you see. So we keep going, and I keep adding water, and then it becomes lighter and lighter and lighter, right? Okay, so these are kind of going to be our gradation. This is Delft blue, and I'm really interested to see how this goes. I'm not gonna go with like the full blown color, the first layer. We're not gonna start with this. If you start with this in watercolor, then it's not gonna work. Okay, but this looks like Delft blue, right? The granulation is interesting, but I have a feeling it's just because of this very cheapo paper that I used here. Sorry, Tim Holtz. We all love you, but yes, the paper is cheapo. Okay, so I'm going to start with something here close to this one, right? So very light, very, very, very light. And then I'm going to build it up. And then this one, we're going to add details. And with details, I'm going to try to find the tiniest brush, you know, but they're going to be like the lines and stuff like that, right? So we're going to go from the lightest to the most interesting one. So let me put it this way here. I'm gonna keep it close by. You might not see it in the video, but it's really, I put it in front of me so I can see it. And I'm gonna use the number 4. I use the number 6 just to pick up color, because number 6 I can smooch up color as much as I can, right? So I'm gonna make a puddle here to the right, and I'm gonna add water, and I'm gonna make a little bit of bigger portion, or how do you say, a bigger portion of this color, because I'm gonna have to do a bigger, okay. Okay, so let's get started. The nicest part about just having one color is that I can go really fast, because everything is one color. I can go really fast and do the first layer everywhere. Okay, so that is the nice part about having one color. But anyway, while I'm doing this first layer, how's everybody doing? It's been a while since we talked. It's been a while since we saw each other, right? Since last Wednesday, right? So what has happened in the meantime for me? I guess there's been a lot of work as usual, right? But the fun part is I started exercising, and I started doing quite some let's say, biking and running. I started running again. I cannot do anymore the big running as I used to. I think the last one that I did was only 2.5 kilometers, right? But that's okay, because this is how you build it up. So let's say next week I'll do like up to 4 kilometers, and then I build it up. I haven't run in a while, not ever since I had my ankle broken. So I need to be very sure that my ankle doesn't go bad again, right? Like, I need to be sure that everything is healed properly, and then I'll go, you know, full blown like I used to do the 10K and so on. I used to run a lot, but now I'm a little bit, I'm not gonna say afraid, but you know, I don't want to injure it again. Recovering from an ankle fracture is quite lengthy, let's put it this way. But it was really nice. What was nice about it is we went biking after work. So what does that mean? It's super dark outside, okay? So and we went biking outside of the town, which also means it's in the forest outside towards the sea. And it's super dark. There are no lights around. I mean, we biked on the dike. There are no lights. We had our own lights on the bikes, of course, so we can see where we go. But we were sitting on a bench by the sea, or let's say the inner sea there. It's called the Hoymir. We were watching some on the town on the other side, on the mainland, basically, because we are on an island here. And we could see the lights from the town and all that. But the fun part is that because there were no lights where we were, we could see clearly the sky and the stars. And I really tried to make a lot of pictures and videos. I'm not sure that you can see the stars. I mean, with the naked eye you can see them, but my camera, because there was no light, it's very hard to see. I think you could only see the very bright ones like Jupiter and so on. So that is what we saw, but it was so nice. And another fun part in all of this was it was cold, right? Initially our app was telling us, okay, you are in the city, and it was telling us it's 7 degrees outside. But the funny part, when we were biking and we biked over some puddles of water and so on, everything was frozen. And I was like, how can it be that it is 7 degrees outside but it's frozen, right? So that was the interesting part. And we didn't realize it was so cold outside until we went back to the city. And when we went back into the city, then like a heat wave just under the highway, because we went to the bikes, there's the highways above, and you go with the bikes underneath the highway, and then you enter the city. Just under that, there was a heat wave, and that's when we realized that actually outside the city is generating so much heat that it's amazing. So the city was 7 degrees, but outside the city was 0. And it's just amazing how just the people living in the city and the cars would generate so much. It's just, I don't know. And I would say, I want to say unbelievable, but yeah, it is a bit unbelievable. When you're thinking about pollution, you never think about this. You never think that actually the city itself is generating heat when the surroundings is not, and in theory that will affect everything like wildlife and so on, right? Anyway, this is what we've been doing, and I'm really happy that I started doing the biking and the exercising again, because I'm not gonna say I need to lose weight, but I do really need to lose weight. I need to start fitting into my clothes again in a way, right? And I cannot constantly depend on me going and buying new clothes all the time. So we made a program. Like I said, I'm trying not to make my ankle too bad again. So that means I'm just doing lots of biking, which is not so hard on the ankle. And I'm starting very slow with the running and the rest. If you're wondering why am I not going to the gym, is because the numbers, we are a little bit in a red zone here now, and the numbers for the Netherlands are not all that pretty. Okay. So I don't dare go. And there was also reports that the gyms, like the Basic Fit gym that I used to go to, they don't check the app for on the entrance, and anybody can go in, right? So I was like, okay, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna go. I'm not gonna do that. Not anymore. Okay, I wanna let it all dry. I'm gonna zap it after I finish. I'm gonna zap it with the heat tool, right? So it's gonna be okay. I'm foreseeing this is the first time and probably the last time I'm using so much blue. I never used so much blue in my life. I usually don't use blue. I don't know. It's a color I don't understand. I'm not very good at understanding blue as a color. So I'm not very good at that. But this is just the first layer. I foresee there's gonna be 4 or 5 layers. It's gonna be like that. Some will be darker, some will be lighter. But yeah. Okay. So even blue for the sky I very rarely use because blue is very finicky. So this is a good opportunity for me to work my way into this blue and to see what I can do. I left plenty of white space all around so I don't get the edge. I'm trying to minimize also anything that I have to do with the white gel pen at the end, because you know I don't want to do that. Okay, you can notice that this one is slightly darker already, and this is the white, more whiter. This is in the back, right? So that's why I kept it a bit slightly darker anyway. So this is how I'm gonna go about, right? The leaves and the parts that are more in the back, I'm going to add more color, and the petals, you know, they're gonna be all nicely done. Okay. Cerulean blue usually, oh no, this is cobalt blue. Cerulean blue usually used for the sky. Cobalt blue, don't know. It's very rare that you see cobalt blue in the wild or in nature. I don't know. I for sure have never seen, I mean, unless it's the sky or something, but it's very rare that you see this. I wonder if I made it myself too easy now because I have already the line art done, and Normally you would use just one color and then you build up and then you can create the shapes and you can do everything. But anyway, let's see where it takes us. Only 2 more leaves left and then we can go and do the next layers. I cannot wait to see what comes out of all the layering. Okay, and now I went a little bit, tiny bit about the line, but the fun part about the cobalt blue, if you didn't know, it's very easy to lift. AKA, if I just go with a clean brush, I can just pick it up. So it's a non-staining. Cobalt blue is a non-staining one, which is why I like it. Okay, this is the first layer. Looks really nice. Looks a little bit like I made the thing. I'm using a heat tool. If you guys don't know what a heat tool is, crafters use it to melt the embossing powder. I use it to speed up everything that I do. So yay. Oh, hey, happy just got a bit scared because, you know. Okay, now I'm gonna mix a bit darker color now, right? The same color, the same cobalt blue. I'm gonna start to do the second layer. Oh, it smells. Whenever I use the heat tool, it smells like that. Do you remember the dark forest road and the monkey? Oh yes. Okay, let me tell you about the monkeys. In our time, we have a zoo for monkeys, or it's like a monkey retreat kind of thing where monkeys are being helped. And the forest that we go to, the monkey retreat, you cannot always visit it, right? They're not open to the public. It's not like an open zoo. They're literally just taking care of the monkeys there. Sometimes they have open days, but not always. But anyway, they're in the middle of the forest where we go to bike. And we were going there, and it was dark. And luckily, we had the very bright lights on the bikes. And it always looks like there's somebody running with you in the forest and so on. Like your imagination plays very much tricks. But I was starting to joke around, you know, that there are like wolfies there, and my husband's like, don't joke around, you never know what happens, and so on. And then all of a sudden you hear this scream, like, wah! And we're like, we got so scared. I thought that, oh my goodness, there's an actual wolf here, that something happens. And my husband's like, that didn't sound like a wolf. It sounded more like a very similar to a human scream. And then we realized that we were very close to the monkeys, and the monkeys were probably in the night, they were being loud. And in the forest you can hear a lot because there's no other sounds, right? So the sound carries. And that scared us because it was so dark. And you know, like, one thing is, when you're out of the forest, you kind of are okay because at least the moon is there, right? So the moon is out. But inside the forest, there's no moon, there's nothing. You're just going around. And yeah, we got super scared. Really dark forest. And another thing is, it's autumn right now, right? Yeah, that was really scary. It's autumn right now, and the leaves, like, can you imagine, like, the forest is full of leaves, and there is one path that you can bike through in the forest, and that path was full of leaves. So in the when it's light, it's okay because you can bike over the leaves, but you can kind of still make out the road, right? Because you don't want to go to the left or to the right, because to the left and to the right it's mud and it's the forest floor. So well, however, during the night it was very hard to keep to the path because yeah, you couldn't see. It was leaves everywhere. Everything was looking very similar. Okay, so yeah, that was the most interesting part ever. Scary forest. We actually got to meet some other dudes that were crazy enough, I think, to go through there. Luckily, you could see the lights, and everybody in here in Holland is required to have lights on their bikes, right? So sometimes you catch some people not having lights, but mostly nobody's crazy enough to go with the bikes in the forest without lights, because that would be really like super crazy, right? Can you imagine? Like, okay, in the city, maybe you think I don't need lights because in the city there's lights on the streets, right? There's the street lamps, there's everything. But if you go to that forest and you bike without lights, or even like there was a guy that was running and we said hello and all that, and he had lights on his arms because he's running in a forest at night. If there's a bike coming, they're not gonna see him until it's too late. So, you know, that's why he was wearing the and it's normal. Like I do the same when I bike in the morning, because I have to bike before I go to work. And that means I have to bike when it's like 5 o'clock in the morning. At this time, there's no more sun, right? At 5 o'clock in the morning, you have to have the lights with you. Otherwise, yeah, you're endangering yourself and others, right? Even when you're running, especially with the bikes, because the bikes go to where pedestrians go. So if you don't have that one, then, you know, things are becoming a little bit weirder. Okay, let's do the next one. Again, this was just second layer on this one. I'm gonna do this. Notice what I'm doing here is I'm just creating the shadows. So where shadows will be, I'm not doing the whole petal or anything. There's no need. Okay. The funny part when you're biking at that hour is that you catch people in their homes at night when it's dinner time. And I did have really fun saying like, oh, these guys are having fries and these other guys are having pizzas and so on, because you could smell it. It was quite fun. It was quite fun to smell everything and to imagine what they're eating and what they're doing. There's a lot of smells of wood burning because I guess it's cold enough right now that people open their you know, they burn the wood to get warm. We don't have a fireplace, but some people do, so, you know, that's cool. That's nice. And now, like this leaf is underneath here, so I'm going to do like this. This is really underneath. I'm going to do a second layer that is really dark, especially where the petals are going. Okay. I'm going to smooth things out, but this is how I do it. This leaf is gonna be also pretty dark. because there's another leaf on top of it, and then there's these petals that are on top of it, right? So we're gonna do that. There's one petal here that I think deserves to be quite dark, and is this petal that is right behind everything. Okay. Okay. And this petal is also pretty dark. This petal should be dark. And then we're gonna spread it around. Okay. This one. This is a leaf, and we're gonna make it all darker. It starts to grow on me. The colors, they start to grow on me. Okay. I'm making a more thicker consistency, and now I'm thinking this part on the inside is quite blue, should be quite blue, right? There's lots of shadows from everything around. I'm almost considering having a second. Oh, hi, Happy. Don't wake up. You can let mommy work. So I was considering having a secondary brush, maybe, to always have a clean brush so I can come really fast. And now I'm realizing that actually all this part is also in shadow, because the petal curls on itself, right? So everything is on shadow except this last part, which can be white. Okay, this part. I haven't actually thought about where the light comes from and what's going on. But do you guys have fireplaces where you are? Do you have stuff like that? Because I'm seeing a lot of my neighbors, they turn on the fireplaces because, you know, it's dark outside and all that stuff. And that's all nice and dandy. I don't have a fireplace, but I'm thinking, am I missing on something? I'm also thinking it might be actually quite dangerous, because how do you ensure you don't have weird fumes and weird stuff happening? How you probably have to clean it a lot, and you have to be, I don't know, for me it sounds very dangerous. Don't know about you guys. I mean, when I was young, I was being, you know, we were living in a house in Romania, and we had this terracotta heating system, and you used to, I mean, I used to do the fire by myself. I used to turn on the fire, put the logs in, put the coals in, and all that stuff. I used to do that when I was young. Then we switched to gas, which is much easier. But I remember when I used to have that one, when I used to be young and restless, as I call it. Okay. That was very dangerous. I always had to clean it properly. I always had to remove the ashes so it doesn't clog and so on, because if it clogs, and then the smoke would go inside, and then that can be very, very, very dangerous, you know. I'm wondering if on this monochromatic stuff it actually is worth it to do kind of like harsh shadows instead of trying to smooth everything out. It could be that it could benefit from very harsh shadows. I don't know. You see how it starts to become a little bit more 3D, right? It's quite a lot of work, don't get me wrong, because you have to do so many layers. Like you have to do really a lot of layers. And now I'm thinking, okay, this one doesn't need to. What I'm thinking, these ones in the inside, these ones needs to be super dark. Okay, I'm gonna do super dark everything. I'm being very careful not to lose the light part, but it's gonna be very difficult. That's why I made the rules. By the way, I am making the rules. Ha ha ha. I'm making my own rules, but that's why I said I want to be able to utilize the white gel pen, because I am probably gonna mess up the whites here. I'm trying really hard not to, like really hard. I'm being very careful and very slow. And by the way, when you're doing this, the best tip I can give you is don't have a lot of water on your brush. I have tissue paper here, and I blot the water on the tissue paper, because if you have a lot of water, it's gonna become very messy, and it's gonna become very, very hard to deal with. Okay. I don't know in which direction this is at, but okay. This is gonna be light, this is gonna be light. I'm going to just darken up these ones here. Wondering why? Because this is on top of it. Let's put it this way, the flower, probably I didn't draw it correctly, because I didn't draw exactly the petals that should come underneath. That's why it looks a bit odd, but you can kind of fix it with the coloring. I'm starting to like this, having only one color, because I always lose myself trying to get some interesting colors in, and trying to get color combinations in and all that stuff. And now this is all good. Okay. Okay, it starts to really take shape. It starts to really look nice. I'm really proud of it. Okay. You see why it's important to let some of them really light and to concentrate the color on some others. We're gonna do different things later on, don't worry. I had too much water on my brush there. Okay, what else happened? Yesterday we went shopping. I haven't been shopping in a very long time. That's because it's I actually wanted a pair of pants for work. I know, boring, but my new work requires that we do lots of how do you say, business attire, and I usually just have jeans and stuff. So I kept looking for really nice, some nice, how do you call, pants. It's very hard to find, but I did find them in the end. So, and I want to buy more. I mean, there's this new trend nowadays where the trend is really nice, like emo dresses kind of style. Like and I put those on, and I really look like I was this kind of hippie mama that was doing her garden in, I don't know, I was like, I had this idea in my mind how I would look into that, and then actually it wasn't nothing what I was imagining. So I didn't end up buying those because that looked way too weird on me. By the way, you notice that I'm going directly into the pan. I'm not doing it into the well again, and that's fine. I'm letting my whites in, but I'm really darkening the tips of the petals, as in the tips, the parts of the petals where they touch the, right, where they all get together there. Okay. And this one in the back is gonna be very concentrated. Okay. That one is very blue. And now I'm going to just do the parts of the petals where they connect with each other. They need to be darker, okay? And the rest of the petal can be light, but not where it connects with each other. Okay. Cool. And now the inside. The inside, I think, needs to be super dark. I'm going to do it super dark, and then I'm gonna come with a white gel pen and do the parts. Okay, that's very good. That is very good. Okay, now adding some more color to the leaves. Okay, I wonder which one should I do darker. Again, adding too much water. Don't know what's wrong with me. I forget to blot. Oh, I put my, let me guess, I put my fingers in this one. I don't know what happened here. I think I put my hand on it or something. Claudia, 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 why are you putting your hand on it? Okay. Okay. Now, let's add a second layer here. Is it still not looking 3D enough, right? It's not yet looking 3D enough. I need a little bit more. Okay. How do I deepen everything again? I think some of the leaves will have to be even darker. Wait. Hi, Happy. Don't get scared, baby. Okay, he's getting scared every time I'm using this. Which one? I think I need to darken this, darken some more petals here and here, and try to think about this one to make it super dark and here. Okay. Like I said, I haven't used so much blue in ever. Okay, cool. I'm gonna do this leaf on this other side the same. I'm gonna go really dark. Don't get scared to go dark. If you would have a different color, you would add maybe some gray to deepen the shadows, but we don't have a different color. Okay. Okay. I'm trying to go around and make them pretty. Okay, now the flower. The flower needs to a little bit be more popping out. The flower needs more pizzazz. And now when you do this, we can see that we do the harsh shadows. Yep, that's nice. Let's do this one also darker. I started watching yesterday the Foundation. Did you guys started watching? It's on Apple. I actually only got an Apple subscription because of the Foundation. I mean, that is a book. Those are the books that I used to read when I was really young. I was 14, 15 when I read them all. I think now I'm realizing that I need to reread them again. And remember what was going on, right? I did realize that actually the books don't go, I mean, the movie, what they're doing in the movie, it's not really in the book. because in the book say that it goes to, okay, the foundation is already done, and this is what they do when they have the foundation, right? So it's not really like I'm going to find out what happens in the series by rereading the books, because it's not there. Like, they've taken lots of liberties. Let's put it this way. But still, I am curious to know whether or not with my adult eyes I'm seeing different things from the books than what I used to do when I was very young. It's just a question. Sometimes when we're young, we gloss over certain things because we don't have enough experience. But I do believe sometimes when you read it with the other eyes, then it becomes a bit more clear. It kind of holds true for everything. When I was young, I didn't understand. I mean, I was really bad at physics. I was only getting bad grades at physics. Don't ask me why. And now that I'm reading it again, I'm like, why didn't I understand it back then? Because now it all kind of makes sense. So I was a little bit surprised, to say the least. I don't know. I guess I'm watching it through different eyes right now. Okay. I'm going to do something fun with this one. I was just going to add some shadows here. Oh no, it started to rain. It's raining really bad. This is what happens in the Netherlands when it's autumn. It rains. And it rains a lot, and a lot more, and even more. It rains every day. I don't think there is a day where it wouldn't rain or it wouldn't something happen, you know? I am trying to add a secondary layer to this. It might be that we need to close some windows. I let some windows open. It was a nice day so far. I let some windows open to air because you want fresh air. But now that it's raining, it's not advisable because it can rain in so many different directions that it is a little bit like it could rain in the house depending how the wind blows. It's pretty annoying. It's not like it's raining in one direction down. It's raining in totally different directions. Okay. Okay, people, how does it look so far, right? I just want to take a moment, stop, drink something, and you guys can comment and tell me what do you think so far. Of course, I need to add the lines and everything, but what do you guys think so far? Is it okay? I had some cola. In the meantime, I'm looking for a very tiny brush, okay? Let me see. Da-da-da-dum. Isn't this too tiny? There we go. Found the brush. So it's technically a 0-2 or 0 time from 2. Okay. Let's add some fun stuff. Let's add some dots, some lines, and some stuff with this tiny brush. Okay, because I think this is what is needed. And I wonder, should I add lines like this or like this? Okay. I just wanted to make it fun. It needed a little bit more of this. Okay. Let's do the same here. You might wonder why I'm not adding it with the black. I don't want to have the black. I want to have everything with the same color. Okay. Which one is it? This one. It looks like what I'm doing is feathers. This is how feathers would look like. Okay. You see, this is not that difficult. I mean, just have to add some interest. Okay. Okay. I think I was trying to do something here, but it doesn't work. So I'm gonna just spread it around. While it's still wet, you can definitely do magic. You can replace anything. You might want to. Okay. Yeah, that's nice. I think I know which one here. I think this one needs to be also pretty much that. Okay. So let's do something else fun. Let's have lines like this on the leaves. Why not? It's a different way of doing things. And these leaves will only have lines on this side. And I really like this tone on tone. By the way, what I'm doing here is not only, if you're wondering what I'm doing, is I'm trying different things. It's not only, I don't, when I'm doing these kind of things, I don't aim to finalize something and to say I have a product. Like if I need to have a product, I'll have a product in mind. But this is me trying out monochrome stuff. Okay, so this is me, and the hardest part is the fact that the tiny brush cannot hold that much water, so you always have to go and pick up some more. And you see, I'm trying stuff and I'm thinking I don't like this. While it's still wet, I'm going to go ahead and fix it. And I can say with clarity that I tried it and it didn't work. Okay. There we go. There we go. It's okay. It's not like it's completely ruined. We're smoothing things out. It creates a nice texture, but it doesn't have to be like super crazy. Let's see if I add the white dots, if that can fix some stuff. And then hi happy, what you're doing? I am gonna have to look where my white gel pen is. Okay, it's here. I found it. I found my white gel pen. It really looks like the Delft blue. Okay, so yeah, and now these ones. And maybe I'll fix some corners here and there where I went a little bit, like if I'm trying to leave the white, right, I should make sure that this doesn't get too dirty there, because otherwise, being one color, right, there's nothing to distract you from the rest. So okay, and now on the darkest parts, the white dots actually look really nice. I was hearing somebody come. I was like, what's going on? Okay. Look how nice it looks like now. Yep, it looks really nice. This is a new gel pen. That's why the white is quite white, I would say. Okay. Okay. I think it looks really nice. It looks like it has a lot of, how do you say, how do you call those guys? We call them fireflies. Yeah, fireflies. There's lots of fireflies here. You know, in theory, if you are in the evening, you're not gonna actually notice, or in the night, you're not gonna actually notice the actual colors of your flowers. So even it's gonna look pretty much monochromatic in the evening. You're not gonna see the bright reds or the other colors. So trust me, because I know. I've been around in the dark and I've noticed my garden, right? Okay. Yeah, I think I've done it. I think this is it. So what are last words on this one? It takes a lot of layers to build up the color. It's a bit differently than when you're using color as the, you know, to make things 3D. And when you have different hues, like for example, if you would use yellow and then add the red, then this distinction is much bigger, right? Between the colors. So you can do it much easily because the contrast is bigger. Now you have to build contrast with layers and layers. And remember here or somewhere, like I think I have up until 5 layers or so. So it does take time. It does take patience to do. Okay, so don't get discouraged. Okay. If you want to see this, I'm probably gonna post it on Instagram. It's a fun exercise to do. It doesn't mean every exercise that you do, it doesn't mean that you always have to think of it has to look nice or it has to look pretty or it has to be a perfect thing in the end. Okay, always think what you want to learn, and this is what I wanted to learn. I wanted to see how far can I push this and how far can I make it until it actually looks nice, until I actually am happy, right? To be honest, what I want to do right now, right? Like this is the exercise. What I would like to do right now is to try with a different shade, and the different shade will be like something like dioxin purple or perlin violet, you know, to just really deepen some colors and make it really pop. This is what I would like to do, but I'm going to stop here. I'm not going to do that because this is in my heart what I want to do because this was the exercise. We were supposed to do monochromatic flowers and we've done it, right? It's done. Okay, great job. One color is always difficult. Yeah, well, one color is always very difficult, but I'm really happy I managed to do, especially here, right? And in the middle, I did good that I put in the middle very dark, and here and I let so many whites. So you know, lots of learnings I did. Anyway, people, have fun, enjoy this Sunday. I'm pretty sure it's going to be an awesome day for most of you, and you know, see you guys next time. I think it's going to be Wednesday and we're gonna go with another fun stream. Okay, see you. Doei.